Grand Rising, and we're back. It's What the Fuck Wednesday. Here with the Think High crew, the gods and goddesses you love to hate and hate the motherfucking love, and we're made it to motherfucking Hump Day. This is the day we all sit and read, and we ask that question, what the fuck? And since it's what the fuck, it's also May, Mental Health Awareness. We're gonna be saying what the fuck about mental health. And when we've learned from the origins, we learned how far back it goes, and this shit is a game that's been forever since forever and ever. So as we continue that journey here with the crew who thinks high, we're gonna have DJ Crazy Man drop some shit. Go ahead and share the room. We're gonna get this bitch motherfucking. This is What the Fuck Wednesday. We made it to the motherfucking hump. Ladies and gentlemen, calm y'all asses down. We live in this bitch. We back. We back. That's how it sounds in the bedroom sometimes. But anyways, for What the Fuck Wednesday, we will be continuing. Should have seen it on my watch this. We'll be continuing this deep dive on mental health and mental health awareness for this month of May. And that's all I got to say for the intro, DJ Crazy Man and Nova and what's up, crew, and everybody listening to the live broadcast.
Just received an update.
Share the room. Let's warm this
It's
bitch.
the Think High crew. Yeah.
Those who've been here this week and those who haven't been here
It's the
this
Think
week.
High crew. What up?
This is all about our mental
Yeah.
health.
It's the
And
Think High
awareness
crew.
as such.
You know.
Just received an update.
Woo!
It's
I'm
the
ready.
Think
Let's
High
go.
crew. What up? It's the Think High crew. Yeah. It's the Think High crew. Yeah.
Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew. Yeah. Think hard crew.
WTF Wednesday.
Mental health check-in. How you doing?
Oh man, my mental health is okay today. It's okay today.
Oh yeah, I was a little frustrated later yesterday, and I was able to transmute that energy, and it is no longer no frustration. It's just on my part, just letting shit get a little frustrating. Had to let it
Yeah, I
on
feel you.
out to keep my mental health balanced today. Oh, head over and claim my Google bonus stock. Thank you, Stash. I'll head over and claim that now. Anyways,
Yeah, I was just about to do that too. But
ah,
anyway, I
what
I
the
was
fuck
gonna
Wednesday? Start
I
us off,
wanted
no.
to
What you got? Yeah, I know you. I
well, I,
know you wanted to do some shit. You told me you wanted to do some shit, but
well,
you
I
ain't
was
tell
just
me
gonna
what it
say
was.
like, okay, so yeah, we've been talking about mental health for
Right?
what 2 weeks now. At
Uh
the
huh.
end of this week, it'll be 2 weeks. So
Yep.
basically, I mean, I think we've been pretty respectful towards this people that might be dealing with some bad mental health, right? Or not
Yeah.
fully
I
exercised correctly mental health or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And we've also stated that, we personally went through things like you just said, you were going through something. We've went through a lot more deep
right.
issues with mental health. A lot
Right.
of people do. And then a lot of people do, but then they don't admit it. And
No.
then some people have I don't really like to use this word privilege, but I'm going to use this word. Some people have the privilege to being a quote unquote superstar, and that's a quote unquote privilege also, right?
Yes. Right.
So the privilege to be a superstar, and then we get to see their mental health fallout.
Yeah.
And I just thought, it would be, I don't want to like I mean, we don't even really have to say names if we don't want to name these quote unquote celebrities or
I
whatever it is.
think
But
I think we
I'm
should
not
get
trying to
into
shame nobody, but
no
and I
because
think if we
yeah.
make that point clear, then we, you know,
Well,
we're
I
just
think that if we start with let's just start with historical. We can start with some historical figures, and
yeah.
then
Look,
you
I
know,
was gonna
like we
say
can
let's do
start with
that,
more like yeah,
and then
and
we
then
can
yeah,
because there's one person that I mean, obviously there's a many people like, you know, there's Britney Spears, there's the
right,
girl Amanda Bynes.
right,
I mean, you could go. I'm not trying to hit all white
right.
females either. I'm just saying, but there's a
Well,
lot of you
they
know,
openly support like depression and not like depression itself but like the recovery of because they were depression or they had some kind of
right, or like
mental illness,
the
yeah, they're
gymnast,
advocates.
Simone Biles.
Yeah,
Like, you know, you heard a lot from her, but then it's like she just kind of faded out of the picture.
faded
So
out,
maybe
right,
she got some. Maybe her mental health is okay. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
But I just wanted to kind of talk about the people that we see that have been dealing with some bad
yeah,
mental health, and it
oh yeah.
seems like they should have all the help in the world, but at the end of the day, they don't.
Right, and when we know that the world is a stage and everything else combined with that, and the knowledge that we've
Hmm.
talked about, that goes with, like I think you all make sure that you keep a lot of this shit in the back of your head because there's reasons why we do the things that we do and why we talk about the things that we talk about on the days that we talk about. And today is May the 22nd, and we'll roll right into the numbers and then we'll jump right into this shit. Also, Nova thought I thought you was gonna tell him the update for the Think High shit. I thought you was gonna tell him that we probably was gonna make Mondays instead of mindfulness or mental health Mondays. I thought that's what you was gonna tell him, but I guess I'll tell him
Oh, yeah, you
that. But today's May the 22nd, 2024. In etiology, we'll take the 22 and actually it'll be a 4. So that's the number for today in the etiology of the day. In the numerology, 4 is associated with Rahu, the north node of the moon. Rahu, Rahu, is known for its transformative and unconventional energy. That's funny. It brings about the sudden changes, innovation, and break from the tradition. Another funny thing as well. People influenced by Rahu are often seen as visionaries, rebels, funny as hell, and pioneers. They have a unique way of thinking that they are not afraid to challenge the status quo.
right.
Astrologically, May the
Well, hey,
22nd. What's up?
does that not remind you of that video of the guy talking about just go ahead, just
Oh
you
my
just
god.
admit it, you're scared. Just admit it, you're scared to take the shot. You all
Oh my
pansies,
god,
you
bro! The dude
snowflakes.
tried to. I was
Yeah,
like, bro, is this dude really trying to like cool person me into like
right.
smoking a cigarette? Like, bro, you're just not cool enough to smoke cigarettes. If you were cool, you would just smoke
Hmm.
cigarettes with me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up. You mean he just tried to? Oh, you're just too pussy to jump off that building with no fucking parachute. Yeah, you goddamn
right.
right.
Yeah,
You goddamn right I am. What
that
the
shit's
fuck?
called live to fight another day, motherfucker.
That shit is called I don't want to be an experiment for my
Yeah,
fucking government. That's what the fucking shit that means. Like if I'm afraid to be an experiment for my government, then is that make me really a dumb one? Am I dumb to
right.
fear being
Hey,
experimented on?
as long as I'm making a smart decision, you can call me scared all you want.
Right, exactly. Man,
Because I rather be smart and scared or smart and aware and timid than fucking
right.
dumb and dead.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. See, it's a
Or
difference
dumb and
between
cool,
being scared
cool,
and
be cool
having
and you remember
cool.
all the people
Yeah.
that came in school. You was either smart and maybe a little bit timid or scared,
But
or
bro,
you was dumb and
there's a
cool.
difference though. There's a difference between being scared. You know what I mean, and there's a difference between being scared and having like intuition. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's
There's a difference between being
yeah.
scared of something and then something inside of you saying, nah, that ain't right, bro.
Nah, you shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? Just listening to that little voice. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, they try to make you think, like, oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But how do you think you stay, alive? You know what I mean? Because they put us
Right.
in survival mode. But astrologically, and that's what also makes us live longer on the end. It's kind of like a double edged sword to the motherfuckers, but they don't even know that shit. Anyways,
Bro, I swear, since we're thinking about mental health, and just real
yeah,
quick, I think
yeah,
people with not necessarily depression, but I think people that deal with the anxiety is what we call it, anxiety.
Uh-huh.
I think these people actually make better decisions and they probably live longer because the
I've
way
read
that
articles.
the
You're
way the
saying
anxiety
anxiety is
makes
like a
you,
superpower, huh?
well, yeah, I mean, the way anxiety makes you kind of operate, you check the box twice.
Right. With maybe
You
three
know
or
what I
four
mean?
times.
And you don't
Depending.
just, yeah, 4 or 5, maybe 10.
You're
Maybe we
right.
get into some OCD. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
you know what? The motherfucker that closes that door 35 times, I bet you that bitch is closed and locked and you ain't breaking in. Nah. But yeah, I think anxiety is it can
Oh
obviously
shit.
hinder somebody and kind of cripple them. But
Right.
if you ride the wave, then
Yeah.
I think you find out that it
Anxiety
helps you
will
make
stop you
better
from
decisions.
doing new shit, you know what I mean, like in exploring and adventuring, and it'll cause that, a fear when it comes to doing new things or trying new things, you know what I
Right.
mean. But at the same time, like that's also a fun part of conquering like little mountains inside of yourself, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I was telling my homie the other day I was afraid of heights, and you know what I mean, like just looking at some pictures with people high up in the air make my knees shake, and I'm like, God damn, I never developed that until I developed that as I grew older, was being afraid of heights. But to break that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, I've been trying to do shit to just break that shit. I've been on my roof doing shit, and you know what I mean, just being like, all right, I'm a motherfucking break my fear of fucking falling. But that's just fucking could be a black thing though.
Think about it. It's like, so we have a fear of falling off of, all right, so you have a fear of falling off of a mountain, but you don't have a fear of falling off of your deck.
Right.
And so, like, your porch or your deck might be like 4 or 5 feet high. If you
Right.
fall off that, you could probably break your ankle.
I mean, you can still
But
fuck
you
yourself
ain't,
up, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But you ain't worried about that. But then, and it's like, bro, it's like either way, like, you're not going to fall either way.
Right,
It's
absolutely.
just that not knowing.
Not knowing, right, the cause of the
You know?
anxiety. And if we're going to jump into the astrology of today, 22 falls under the sign of the Gemini, ruled by Mercury. We talked about that yesterday. Gemini is an air sign, also known for its intellectual curiosity and adaptability and communication skills. Combination of Gemini's influence and the number four's association with Rahu suggests today is filled with dynamic energy, intellectual pursuits, and innovative ideas. It's a time for exploring. In the tarot, number four is represented by the Emperor card. The Emperor symbolizes authority, structure, stability. It represents the power of leadership's discipline and the ability to create order out of chaos. The energy of the Emperor combined with the innovation of the spirit of Rahu suggests that today will be a day where one can harness their leadership abilities to bring about significant transformative changes. And metaphysically, the number four is associated with the element of earth. It's represented by stability, practicality, and also obviously a strong foundation. The energy of the earth element combined with Raul's transformative influence suggests that it's a day where one can ground their innovative ideas into reality. It's also a time that builds solid foundations for future endeavors and bring into the visionary concepts. We say four is the door. Historically, today on the 22nd, several significant events take place. 1849, Abraham Lincoln was issued a patent for a device to lift boats over shoals and obstructions, making him the only U.S. president to hold a patent in 19. Oh, the crowd! I didn't know that. In 1960, the Great Chilean earthquake, most powerful earthquake ever recorded, struck Chile. And I
The most
and in
powerful earthquake.
Yeah, that's what it said. The Great Chilean earthquake, the most powerful earthquake ever recorded, struck southern Chile. And I guess with the ground, since it's four is the earth, we were talking about the earth and the groundbreaking energy and then innovations and shit like that. So that shit's crazy. And in summary, though, the 22nd is the day that's influenced by the genealogy number four, which brings together the transformative energy of Raul, the intellectual curiosity of the Gemini, and the authoritative power of the Emperor, and the grounding stability of the earth element. It's a day for embracing change, exploring new ideas, and building a solid foundation for your future.
Hmm.
And today's for the door is the portal. Walk through that bitch. And god dang, bro. So look, let me start it off by saying this. Okay. When you look up I was curious, right? Because what the fuck Wednesday? So I was like, let me see some shit. Let me put some shit in here and see if I can find out some shit, like some interesting mental health moments, that was documented in our history. Um, and I want to say, oh, did y'all know, or what the fuck? You ever heard of the three Christs of Ypsilanti? Some shit like that? 1959 and 1960, right? There were three men with schizophrenia who all believed that they were Jesus Christ and were treated by a psychiatrist named Milton Rotek, or Rokeach, excuse me, highlighting the complexities of delusional thinking. I never knew of those people. I said
I have. I never knew their name, but I've heard of that. Uh,
the three Christs
I
of
I don't know, man. I heard of something about it.
Ypsilanti, some shit like that. 1959, 1960. Like that's wild. See, now I'm just gonna bring up some instances, that we've had in our history that has just been out there and proven. Just like, these people are famous, right? Specifically for being crazy type shit. To having some
Hmm.
kind of mental disorder. You know what I mean? Like and you it's funny as hell because there's people in here that you wouldn't think that would be in here. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
all. Like they'll have like Genghis Khan, but then they'll also have like Kanye West.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like then obviously when we could talk about some cool things that was established, some interesting mental health moments just in general in the history of mental health. But they also considered certain people psychopathic, right? And so I got a controversial one that might well, I guess give some substance to this conversation. So they say Genghis Khan from 1162 to 1227 was a mongrel emperor. We all know about him, right? And he was conquests that had massacres, killing helly motherfuckers. And he was characterized as brutal and a lack of empathy, and they would classify this type of behavior as a psychopath, right? So Genghis Khan is here, right? But C-
Napoleon,
why isn't Caesar?
Alexander the Great,
Alexander
Napoleon.
right. Where's
Fuck.
yeah,
We could just go down the list if you want. Shit.
where's the
So many people.
where's
What
the
about
niggas who
George
who killed
Bush?
who killed all the Indians?
What about George Bush? Shit.
Yeah, like I was like, man, how? And I'm like, man, because then they got lists, you know what I mean, and their sources, cited throughout all of these notes where this is shit you can
I
get
guess
on
maybe. I
Google,
mean, I
right?
don't know, man. Maybe it's a worldwide name,
Right. I
more
think, man,
known.
I think our information, I
But
think so much shit's compromised, bro.
fuck, it is. I know that
Bro,
shit.
you know what I mean? Like it just shows like no matter what information you're looking up, like they're gonna give you what they initially want you to have. You know what I mean? So like
Yep.
they would say, Genghis Khan was a psychopath. You know what I mean? And it will he would be it would be part of significant events in world history that have been associated, I guess, with psychopathic behavior. Let me change my
Behavior.
wording. Right. Okay.
Right.
So, but they'll put people like Adolf Hitler, right? Okay, we already know we know about all about him, right? And what makes they put him and Genghis Khan in the same fucking thing, but like back in 1162 when Genghis Khan was doing his fucking thing, it was a completely different time frame than 1889.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's just like you could say, Thomas Jefferson was like
Right,
psychopathic because he owned
right.
slaves and also had sex with black women to have a mixed race baby, what
Hmm.
you would call a mixed race baby. But those terms and those ideas and thoughts today are different from back then. So like, how
Yeah,
can we say like, I mean, I'm saying obviously, I'm not saying slavery was cool,
right.
but I'm just saying, how can we sit here and say Genghis Khan was acting psychopathic when
Hmm.
motherfuckers might just have been psychopathic back then,
Right,
bro?
right. Well, maybe that was just, I
I
mean,
mean,
like
we
they
know
called
that
that
like there
shit.
were we know they knew about mental health back
Right.
then. We've already went back
But
that
they
far,
didn't
so we
call that
know that.
shit. They didn't call that shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Then that's what I'm saying. They either said anxiety, depression, or like insomnia. It wasn't no psychopathic behavior back
Right. He
then.
more. It
They
was
didn't
he.
even use those words back then.
Right, bro. Yeah. He. And for Genghis Khan, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the behavior of him and his forefathers, but like to conquer and take over. And back then, the way people conquered and took over was militarily, and then they would move
Exactly.
in militarily. They would kill the men, rape the women,
And guess
and,
what?
and
If
enslave the
he
children.
if they completed that conquer, if they
Right,
did that,
right.
then were they really crazy?
But they were like given like sculptures, like people admire
Right.
Alexander the Great for doing all of this conquering, even though many people may have suffered. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's looking at that other. He's one person's hero, but he's another person's fucking complete villain. Everybody hated that nigga. Like in my experience, if Alexander the Great was the one who burnt down the fucking all of those libraries of ancient Kemet and shit like that nobody gets the fuck, like, then fuck Alexander the Great.
Hey, well, how about this? Why isn't Queen Elizabeth
Yeah.
in that list as a psychopath
I
also?
I'm really
And her
bro, I
and
feel
all
you.
of all of her ancestors,
We're gonna keep
because
we're gonna keep
the
this
British
going.
Empire went
Yeah,
around the whole fucking planet taking
absolutely.
over people.
And what's so wild is that, okay, so you're not a crazy if you're doing it in the name of the king, right? And sometimes you're
Right.
not crazy if you're doing it in the name of God, right? You're not crazy now. Now you're not crazy. You're just, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like it's just, so when we talked about religious effects, we were talking about it yesterday and even the day before, about how that shit used to be, how our mental health was completely attached to our spirituality, and then spirituality got replaced with religion. You know what I mean? So like you see that, people will blow themselves up. You know what I mean? We watched it. We know they
Yep.
motherfuckers will kill themselves in the name of their god to kill another motherfucker. You know what I mean? And that
Yep.
shit is just wild. Like, and then,
And
but they're not psychopathic though. You know what I mean? Like, so
no,
the Crusades, the people who, so Constantine and whoever and the motherfuckers with the Crusades and all of, so they're not psychopathic for. Do you see the torture devices that them niggas was inventing?
right.
Like fuck a Diddy party, nigga. God damn.
Well, how about this though? Why is it why is it acceptable to make a song or a movie about someone that's crazy in love, right? And
Yeah,
somebody will do anything to get that person.
yeah,
And if they end up killing themselves or killing somebody else or whatever,
right,
it's looked at as, oh, they're just in love, they're doing it for
bro.
love. But you take that same situation and put it in this different situation, and the person's crazy. It just
Hey, what you just stated right there was a whole Shakespeare. Not like Shakespeare writes
right,
about people, you know what I mean? And that's where they get. And like they say that the brain patterns of insanity and love are similar. Okay, they're not exactly the same. There's a part of them that's a part of the love frequency that's a little bit different, but they're very similar, in their brain wave, form. So the poetry type shit, Shakespeare wrote about that. People doing some crazy ass wild, that they Romeo and Juliet were insane.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't. That's
Hmm.
not sane. That's not
Well, the
sanity.
whole the okay, so we've kind of learned that society, culture, and science plays a big part. And
Right?
so back then, and you
Yeah.
could even look at the way things are done now, like when certain people get married, it's still kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like back then, like everybody, the society and the culture had it set up so that if you like somebody else from this other family or whatever
Hmm.
kingdom or whatever it is, you were crazy as fuck, or you were stupid, or you were doing something wrong
Right.
in the name of love, though.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right, bro. And that shit, man, it's and then like you said, there's people who got off, like you said, got off murder. You know what I mean? Crime of passion. It was a crime of passion.
Yep.
You know what I'm
So,
saying?
where do
Like
you actually draw the line?
what they call that temper.
Temper-
Yeah,
temporary insanity.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all
So
right. So check this out. So since you just mentioned that, so I
right,
was looking at these notes.
yeah.
And the Rosenhan experiment
Oh,
was
that's
in
a
1973,
yeah, that's a good one.
and psychologist David Rosenhan exposed the flaws in psychiatric diagnosis
Hmm.
by having healthy individuals fake mental illness to get admitted to psychiatric hospitals. Now,
Hmm.
what's the diagnosis for the person that does that though?
Yeah, right.
Because would that be considered crazy or
Yeah, to
psychotic?
have people fake crazy to just to
Because
prove that.
what sane individual wants to fake
Yeah.
a mental illness
To prove,
to
yeah.
get admitted into a psychiatric hospital?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're running a scientific experiment, right? You this is what you would have to do. You would have to take, 10 sane people who are pretending to be insane and then 10 actually insane people or, mentally ill people and then have them go all try to get admitted to the mental, to a mental health hospital and then, see who all gets accepted or not. But, at that time, right? Let's remember, okay? It's 1973 type shit, right? And then there was the deinstitutionalization movement was happening. That was from the 60s, 1960s to the 1980s, right? So they were
Hmm.
trying to move it from an institutional type of thing to the community thing. Remember we talked about that too. And so this is right in the middle of that, right? 1973 with the Rosenhall experiment. And so when you put that in a perspective, it's like I don't know, maybe he was kind of crazy to be like, all right, let's prove that these motherfuckers is but at the same time we knew how much money they were making off the mental health movement. So why wouldn't they just take whoever the fuck they wanted to take?
Right,
They would take
because
everybody, right?
what I'm saying is like if I'm working at the intake at the mental facility, right?
Right.
And a sane individual comes in there and tries and fakes being crazy to
Right.
get into a mental facility where there's nothing but crazy people, then I'm just going to go ahead and let them in because obviously they're
Yeah.
crazy also.
And we know
Like just
that,
in a different way. Like you can be
right.
smart as fuck and run a scam, but still be crazy as a
Well,
motherfucker
well,
though.
what I want to know is, okay, so,
And when I say
the,
crazy, I'm not talking
well,
about
think about
mental
this
health.
though,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. I want to ask this question, right? What was the insurance that y'all used to on the applications? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
did all of them have good insurance? Did you put them all as not having insurance? Like you know what I mean? Like to me, because it's
Right,
like the statistics that we've talked about even last week, because we had a lot of stats put in there last week, showed that the percentage of people who actually are able to afford their mental health care is low. Low. The percentage is low. Normally only the wealthy people
right.
can afford the treatments that they fucking need and or the medications at the same time. So it's just wild to be like, well, okay, well, you did this experiment, Rosenhall, but right, but like, it needs to be a little bit more detailed. If you want, I'm sure they have more information on it. We're just going off of the notes that we took. It was just brief. We're trying to like cram a whole bunch of shit into one. So, if y'all want to check out the Rosenhall experiment in 1973, I mean, I think that proved, a lot of things, but I don't think it stopped shit because, like I was told y'all, like I know family members who be like, yeah, I get a crazy check, but I know damn well them niggas ain't crazy.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, so who wouldn't want to fake crazy to get a check? Also, the government gets, money to be able to fund that type of shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a win-win. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like it don't matter if they're faking or not. Yeah, take their ass. Take
Exactly.
everybody. You know what I'm saying? Take everybody in. Some
Exactly.
interesting shit happened also the year I was born. Prozac. It was the introduction of Prozac. I didn't know that. I was born in the year of Prozac. That's gonna be. I might need to put that in some bars. What up, old man?
Prozac, baby.
Prozac. The first the first
Prozac, baby.
SSRI independent or antidepressant Prozac revolutionized the mental health treatment and sparked debates all over or I guess all about over over the medication of Prozac. What up, Mr.
Right.
Be Great? That shit is crazy. I didn't know that as well. Um, oh, 1999. I remember this though. The Columbine shooting happened. right? That's another motherfucking thing that we don't talk
Mhm.
about, right? Is the mental
But
health of these school shooters.
I kind of disagree with this though, because it says a tragic event that highlighted the importance of addressing mental health in
I
youth
know,
and the
right?
need
And
for
I don't
bullshit.
agree
I
with
think it was.
bullshit.
I think they talked about guns more than they talked about mental health.
Oh my
Think
gosh,
about it.
they
Like
did. Bro,
you're like, oh, this is we
everybody
need to
still
ban
asks.
guns. We need to ban.
Eminem rapped about it. Everybody still
Hmm.
asks, what the fuck was the parents doing that they didn't fucking, nobody fucking knew? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that shit is fucking wild. I don't agree with that either. You know what I mean? And that's why I love, when we do these type of topics and we have these, because we can put out there, what mainstream media is showing us, and then when you actually, when you live through that event, like I remember that as a kid, bro. I lived through that fucking
Right.
event. Like, it was
What
crazy.
do you remember the two like grown brothers that lived in the basement of their parents'
Yeah,
house or whatever, the
yeah,
Menendez brothers? That was around that same
yeah.
time
That was
too.
around that, yeah.
I mean,
And it's like
I don't know if it was 99, but I know it was,
in
kind
the
of
night.
around that time.
Well, what it is,
And
then you hear the
like,
comedians joke about it too. You know what
but
I mean?
you
Like,
remember that trial? Like, they didn't,
yeah,
them guys didn't deny a motherfucking thing, bro.
nope,
They
nope,
said they killed their parents because they was told to kill their parents.
yep.
And think
It's,
about that, man. As parents, you let these motherfuckers live with you forever.
and like
They
you said
grown
though,
as hell, and then
like
they come down there and kill you because bro. That's
bro,
another level of crazy. That's just
it is. But like you said, we lived through that. And what was the discussion wasn't the mental health of these guys. Obviously, that was part of the case, because you know what I mean. But a lot of people got off with that crazy playing that crazy role
exactly
after committing murder, but they did it. You know what I mean? So, it was just wild how we've always, like, since, you know what I mean, a long time ago, since the Salem witch trials and all that other shit, like, we've always had this funny way of drawing a line between what is actually mentally insane or stable and what is like psychopathic or
right.
sociopathic, or
Well,
you
how
know what I'm
about
saying?
this? A lot of people would say that this guy is fucking crazy, but a lot of people
Yeah,
say he's not. Marilyn, I mean, not Marilyn Manson, but fucking Manson,
yeah.
uh, Charles
Charles,
Manson.
Charles.
Okay, so the guy was extremely smart,
Yeah.
like, but I think he might have had something that kind of crept up on him, and
Do
as he
you?
got older and kind of turned him a little bit. But then again, he was so fucking smart, bro. He might have
Right.
played that crazy card when he needed to.
I know. I
I
know.
mean,
The attack
see,
on the
that's the
second.
thing. That's the point I'm trying to get at too.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
just because somebody is crazy or has bad mental health, that don't mean there's nothing wrong with their brain, like
Right.
how they
Don't mean that
think
it
and
don't mean
work
that
and
they don't
act.
know that they're doing, what they're
Exactly.
doing. They know what the fuck they're doing. I get what you're saying. The old man
Hmm.
said the attack on the Second Amendment, ooh, excuse me, after that Columbine shooting. Let's just see him in the comments. Um, after the Columbine shooting, he said, "Make me a strong 2A supporter." I feel you, man. It
Yeah.
was, and you went through that too. You lived through that. We lived through that Menendez brothers events. You know what I mean? Like, we lived through these events, and they played it so much different than what they would describe to you now. You know what I mean? So, like, if you were born after that, right, and then you do some research about it, you know what I mean? I don't know, say for a report or some shit, you know what I mean? What will come back is this. But you know what I mean? If that person were to ask their parent, like, Dad, you remember this crazy shit, you know what I mean, that happened? And they're like,
Hmm.
yeah, I remember that. Well, yeah, didn't that spark a change in the mental health? Like, no, like, these motherfuckers was talking
No.
about taking niggas guns, and then
Right.
other motherfuckers was talking about doing this and doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it
Well, that's
never.
just like Waco, Texas, like with the guy David Koresh.
Yeah,
That didn't spark no mental health. They didn't
yeah,
say like maybe religion turns you crazy. No, I
yeah.
ain't said
You're
nothing
right.
about that. They said, oh, they had illegal guns and
Mm-hmm.
bombs, and
Yep.
we had to go get them. Like what? Like what do you mean, man? You
Bro,
know who shot first, so that's all you
bro.
got to say.
Hey, now
Once you
that you
know who
say that
shot
though,
first,
you know who else they had on here? They put down in our notes, if you, I don't know, because I put a lot of them. Okay, I'm only in the first part of these notes, y'all. They put what's his name, Saddam Hussein. Now that you say that, right,
yeah, I
they
saw
said
that too.
they put him down as or they put him as a significant event in world history that was associated with psychopathic behavior, right? They say Saddam Hussein. Okay, they say that the Iraqi dictator used chemical weapons against, against the civilians, aggressive militarism, and brutal suppression of a distant, that exhibit psychopathic traits, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but we found out that he didn't have any weapons of mass destruction, or he
Right.
wasn't really using chemicals on his own people. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like damn, like 20 years later you find out. So it's like, how did this even get in here? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
how did this even make it there? Like, if that's the case, then you might as well put Gaddafi on here too. You know what I mean? Like, and they said the same thing about him.
Yep.
Like, that shit is just not. Now that you were saying, like,
Well, I'm just saying, how do you put, like, how much did Saddam Hussein actually conquer
right?
compared to motherfucking the goddamn British Empire? Now
Yeah.
you're gonna tell me that Saddam Hussein was a psychopath, but the British Empire wasn't? Come
Right.
on, man.
Right,
I mean,
right.
fuck, bro.
We're just building a base here for you guys to help you understand where we coming from on our point of view on this. You know what I mean? Appreciate you, old man. Uh,
Because it just like, look, we can't ever solve a
right,
motherfucking
old
thing
man.
unless
Look.
it's the truth.
Yep. And look what the old man said. Look what he said. The USA put him in power. Ain't that crazy, right? All right, we ain't gonna talk about that. They never talk about that though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, it's like you handing the fucking drunk guy your keys to take you home. Here you go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you wanna, you know what I mean, say that and do what you did. And now he's a part of historical events of people who characterize psychopathic traits.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's wild. You know what I mean? So that does go to show, like, there's an agenda with this shit. Okay, and we always keep telling you guys, like, they want the power of your mind. And then people like, who's they? Well, just fucking look it up. All right, you know
Mm-hmm.
who fucking they is. You know what I mean?
Man, a lot of people don't really remember like the Saddam Hussein thing like I
No, they
do
don't.
because I lived in Okinawa, Japan, and my dad was in that Desert Storm War.
Right,
I remember that shit like it was yesterday, bro.
right.
Like straight up, like yesterday. I saw pictures, crazy ass, like man, all kind of shit, man,
Hmm.
from over there. And like no offense to my dad, but he wasn't like he was a good fucking Marine.
Right,
So he followed orders and whatever. He ain't
right,
really questioned that much. He does now, but back then he didn't. And
right.
there was never no question. It was just like, yeah, we're going over here, da 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 da. And when he got back from the second or the first tour, he went back. When he got back from the first one though, he was
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I asked him, I'm a kid. I'm like, as an adult, I probably wouldn't ask this question, but as a kid, I was like, how was it? Was there people, bombed, people getting killed, war? He was like, nah, I mean, we were just sitting around in tents. And I was
my
like, what? And he was
my
like, yeah,
dad
we were
went to
just sitting around in tents
Vietnam.
waiting, waiting, waiting. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Hey,
my dad went to Vietnam. He didn't get. I don't think he saw any actual action like that. I think he's seen a couple mines blow up or some shit like that. Some people lose a couple legs, but I don't think it. I mean, that's crazy, but I don't think it's like he's like the only thing he said I learned just to make feet health. Feet health is important. I seen motherfuckers lose toes just because they ain't changed their
mm-hmm.
socks. That's all he said, really. I'm like, that's it. Like, that's all the crazy shit.
Yeah,
I saw some shit though. I'm like, well, what you see? So I saw some shit, but he don't like to tell you what he saw. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
what's some shit, Dad? Or you just, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? But I know a lot of people, came back fucked up from that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So that's a whole another mental health topic right
That is
there.
a whole
Just like
nother mental health
war
topic.
and what it
Yeah,
does to people
what
and
it
the
does to
whole thing.
people. Yeah,
And then how we kind of never really talked about PTSD at all
yeah,
until Afghanistan.
yep. And what's wild about that is they put Osama bin Laden on there too. So they
Yeah,
say Osama bin Laden,
yeah, yeah,
he was an Al Qaeda leader who orchestrated terrorist attacks such as 9/11, and his disregard for human life have been described as psychopathic. Isn't this fucking crazy, right? That you can't make this shit up, right? I'm,
yeah.
I'm telling
Well,
this is like just do it,
so
just do
these four things right here that I'm about to say, bro. These
it.
are five things. These are supposed to be like major turning points, and it starts at 1979 for mental health. Now,
Okay.
this is very weak turning points for mental health
Right,
in support of mental health. It
right,
says the National Alliance on Mental Health was founded in 1979. I've never heard of it before.
You say the National Health?
National Alliance on Mental Illness. Sorry. Yeah. So it's a grassroots organization that advocates for mental health, education, support, and policy change.
Never heard
I've
of it
never
either.
heard of it. My aunt went through some really hard, crazy mental health stuff and ended up
Mm-hmm.
committing suicide. And my whole side of my mom's family deals with the shit. And
Wow.
I've been to meet to things with them, in support of and all that shit. Man, I ain't never heard that. So whatever.
Yeah, me
And
neither.
then they give you this, the Silver Linings Playbook, the movie that was released in 2012, a film that humanized mental illness and showcased the importance of empathy and understanding. Bro, one movie? Like that's
Yeah,
what y'all got? And
yeah,
then the Break the Stigma social media campaign, 2015. I might remember that, but I don't think I
hmm
do.
yeah. They
Kanye
call.
West mental health advocacy in 2016. Did that really change anything? I doubt it. And then number
Oh
10 on the
shit!
list of things they say, which is just unbelievable. This is the last one. The American Psychological Association's recognition of climate change's mental health impacts, acknowledging the psychological effects of environmental crises. Now,
Wait,
I
wait,
just
wait.
got to say this. I reposted something on X
Oh God!
yesterday, and it goes right along with this number 10. That's why I wanted to read it.
Oh,
Now,
you get
the
on my
health
nerves.
inspector
Yeah.
of the motherfucking United States government,
But bro, this is like a 7-year plan. You see it, right? You
right?
see it
But the
happening.
health
Yeah.
inspector of the United States government, which
Mhm.
is a man slash woman slash
Oh.
trans slash
Ooh.
person,
Ooh.
which is also overweight,
Mm. Mm.
is also telling people
Well, black
that
people specifically.
black people are more affected by climate change and the mental
Oh,
impacts that come with it.
oh
Like that
shit.
right there, bro, is just fucking crazy.
But wait, though, back in 2017, they created a whole APA, or the APA recognized climate change as mental health impact. So now people can get prescribed a pill because of climate change
Yeah, the acknowledging the
impacting your.
psychological
Yeah.
effects of environmental crisis. Wow.
Ah,
Look now, it
so
says
if you
these
listen to
moments,
conspiracy theorists and they hurt your feelings about some climate change bullshit, you can go to.
bro, look, these moments represent significant milestones,
Ah,
controversies, and advancements in mental health awareness, treatment, and advocacy.
the, the
Uh-uh.
internet is
No,
a
it don't.
lie, bro. Y'all gotta just do some more of this. You know what I mean? Like when you see shit this and these things are, if you're looking up like information, you're doing research on the topic, you're like, hey man, I need some significant mental health moments in our recent history that are intriguing.
This is what it gives you.
It'll give you some shit like this. And
Now,
we just
imagine
marked
if you were
down,
somebody,
the top 10 that we thought were fucking the
right?
most interesting.
Imagine if
But
you were somebody down bad on your mental health and you needed some actual help.
man,
The
boy.
first thing you're going to do is get on the phone or the internet and you get
Yeah.
on there and you start finding shit like this and you're like, well, damn, the reason why I feel like this is because climate change. Hmm, that makes a lot of sense. I guess I will be an environmental
So
activist now.
if you're afraid of, climate change and what they're telling you, you know what I mean? Like that shit's wild. Like climate
Right.
change.
Or this Kanye
Oh
West
fuck.
mental health advocacy. The
Right.
celebrity's open discussion of his bipolar disorder, but now you could get on any video platform and see him saying he does not have a fucking bipolar
Right.
disorder.
Right.
That was done to help, take his image and tarnish
Right.
it basically. So
Right.
what the fuck,
Well, let me
bro?
help you then. Let's do this. Let's give them something that actually would be,
Some real
more.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
dang.
so. The establishment of the first mental institution in the American colonies was actually in 1752. It was a Pennsylvania hospital for the insane that was founded in Philadelphia, marking the beginning of the institutional care of mentally ill. The institutional care of mentally ill started in 1752. It's not that old, relatively speaking, to medical health medical health's lifespan in general from since we've had medical health. Um, there was some dope shit that you might find out that there was a rest cure controversy in the 1870s. There's a dude named Dr. Silas Weir Mitchell. Actually, he had a treatment for women's mental illnesses that involved forced bed rest and isolations, and it sparked debate about gender and mental health. Like that's some fucking groundbreaking changes. Okay, so this is like the start of even people being like, okay, men and women think differently, and so this is what you need to do to women for
Right.
their mental health to be good. You know what I'm saying? So then, if you also had the rise of phrenology, which was this I guess debunked theory claimed that skull shape and size revealed mental faculties and character traits influencing early American views on mental illness. So in the 1800s, they also thought the shape of your fucking skull determined if you had mental illnesses or not. Like this is here goes some real facts about it. These are like real turning points in science about mental health. You know what I mean? Like not fucking Kanye West. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Like
this
these
is
are like these were things that they really had like rulers and shit to where they can measure your head and your skull,
right.
and they would be like, oh well, yeah, I mean this person,
Well, so if you're looking for some, trying to understand your mental health and you're looking at the origins or you're looking back and see like how much you can realize this, people, okay? And I don't mean to sound scary with it when I say this. Like they don't know shit about your mental health. Okay?
no,
Like you literally have to find this shit for yourself. Like this is I'm reading you like the basic timeline of the American history. Like these are turning points in mental health illnesses, okay? And then, after the rise of phrenology, it was the lobotomy era that Nova spoke about from the 30s to the 50s, and then we know about the deinstitutionalization, which happened in the 60s. We spoke about that. Another significant event, Thorazine wasn't invented until 1954, which was the first antipsychotic medication that supposedly revolutionized the treatment and raised concerns about the over medication and basically with a chemical straitjacket. So, like,
hmm
this is new shit. Like 1954, like Thorazine was, came out 1954. What year is it? You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. And like this experiment on our mental health is just not. It's not new, obviously. Um, Man, it just goes on, and they give you some other cool turning points with the publication of the Feminine Mystique, which was Betty Frieda's book linked to women's mental health and societal expectations, helping to launch the feminist movement. Now we can, um, that's a whole nother story. God
right,
damn! See, we're
yeah,
damn it, bro. Like that right there is a whole show. That's a whole show for you right there. But that's crazy. So, nope. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that there was a chick who wrote this book?
right. That's like that needs to be kind of remembered that that's where the feminist movement.
Right, but that's another turning point in our fucking mental health, like our mental health history. Like
Right.
here's like little milestone, like we're going down the
And
timeline.
then
This
how
is
many
like
of these people were possibly affiliated with the
you
CIA?
who knows Betty Frieden's who knows her?
Exactly.
Who have we heard say, yeah, Betty this, Betty that? Like
Betty
even
Friedan,
even
she all these
the
feminists out here talking
feminist,
about
right?
feminist, they ain't never said no we represent Betty Friedan's
I have never
ideas.
heard not one
Never.
motherfucker say her name during a feminist, and I'm
That's just
only
like,
37,
hey,
so I mean take that
not
into account, I
saying
guess.
not saying nothing about what people believe, but
Right.
that's just like these people, and somebody listening might be one of them. And maybe when one day when it's my time, and if there's enough motherfuckers that want to go protest about some shit that I want to, maybe I'll go
Hmm.
too. But if I go protest about something, I'm gonna know all about it. Okay,
Right.
I'm not just gonna
Right.
be out there looking like a fucking fool talking about
Hmm.
free Gaza and free Palestine
Yeah.
when you don't even know what the
You
fuck
have
you're
no
talking about.
idea what's going on. You know what I mean?
But
And
I'm
then
not
we won't.
saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying you're
Nah.
right. I'm saying you're going off of some shit like we just pulled off the fucking internet, which don't give
Exactly.
make a fuck. They tell you Kanye West. That motherfucker
Right.
tell you right now he ain't bipolar.
So right. So when you just Google some turning points and in in mental health history, right, you get one thing, but then when you dive and you like, okay, or let me
Hmm.
actually dive into this, then you get a better timeline. Like,
Right.
just even learning that, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro, we didn't know that her book was whole linked to the mental health and the societal expectations helping to launch the feminist movement.
Right.
This is the foundation of the feminist movement, and
Yeah.
we
Well,
know
how about
how far that's gone even to this fucking day.
exactly?
Go ahead.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say, so, a lot of people over the years have kind of like started giving the Obamacare like a bad name,
Right.
which, it is what it is. But I didn't know that the Affordable Care Act in 2010, this act, also known as Obamacare, made
Hmm.
mental health services more accessible by considering them as essential health services. And
Yeah.
then, you know, 2 years before that, the Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act. This act aimed to ensure that mental health and substance use disorder
Hmm.
benefits were treated equally to medical and surgical
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that they put
It was
the
also
addiction in there with it.
the Americans with Disabilities, the ADA was also landmark legislation that protected the rights of the individuals with mental illness, prohibiting discrimination of employment. Oh yeah, sorry, you said some
Right. I
shit.
mean, I know Obama gets a lot of, for his
Yeah.
whatever, but like, there was some actual good things that was
Well,
done in there.
yeah. I mean,
And
that was definitely a good. That's
and
something
it's
that you can add in
interesting
there.
to see that they added mental health and substance use. That's when they paired it.
Yeah.
The act to aim to ensure that mental health and substance use disorder benefits were treated equally.
Yeah.
That's why I believe uh, there's not really too many quote unquote crazy or mental facilities anymore. They've bridged
Yeah.
over to drug rehabs and they can charge
Yeah.
people more.
Yeah. I agree.
Because if you go to a drug rehab, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a lot of people in there with some severely bad mental
Yeah.
health
Something
that
going
have self
on.
medicated into a physical addiction and possibly a mental addiction also. So interesting.
Hey, you know what else though? Like they don't tell you about if you were to even go back, like Vincent Van Gogh's ear incident in 1888. I didn't even know that that was a thing. I guess in a state of depression, he cut off his ear. I guess it was an event that marked a significant moment in history, but also highlighted the impact of the mental health issues of certain individuals. I didn't know about that either. That's another thing that, like I said, you're not gonna find just
Right.
on the internet. You're gonna have to do a little bit of diving. Um, oh, 19 or 1843, William Sweetser was the first dude who termed the term medical or mental hygiene in 1843, which became a popular term in the 20th century. Y'all heard of that? Y'all heard that term, mental hygiene. So that was William Sweetser. So these are gonna be people you probably never fucking heard of because they don't really fucking tell you shit about things that they may or may not have learned. Then you talked about the
Right.
Affordable Care Act and shit like that. What else did they have, man? Like it's a crazy fucking time. They put this one dude in here though. I tell you right now, they put this dude named Nero, and they put his Nero. And this dude was from 37 to 68 AD. He
He's
was a
the god
Roman.
of war.
Yeah, the Roman Emperor Nero was often characterized as a psychopath due to his cruelty and megalomania. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I'm gonna have to look up what megalomania is.
You
He's
heard that song Megalomaniac?
Oh yeah, okay,
So you
okay,
probably
yeah,
pieced it together
okay,
from there.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but no, I was just gonna say the fucking Nero.
Yeah,
I've never heard of him characterized as a psychopath. I've heard him
for real.
characterized as the god of war.
See,
But I guess that's just what his name is associated with, is the god. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? The god.
Well, what's wild is that you would think he'd be brought up. The Christians would bring him up a lot because that's who he was killing.
Yep.
But you know what I mean. You don't. I don't hear about this dude. Not just to be honest. You know what I mean. Just to tell you, here goes another little bit of history about mental health and who they consider psychopaths and who they don't. You have to dive if you want to find out who Nero was. Okay, well, they left him out of the initial shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean. They left Ivan the Terrible out of the initial shit. They left a dude named Idi Amin, who's a Ugandan dictator. They put Al Capone in here. I mean, couldn't he be considered a psychopath, right? Um, we talked about Stalin, Vlad the Impaler, who's supposed to be fucking goddamn Dracula. Like, was that even a real person? Did he really exist? Well, I guess Vlad the
Right.
Impaler really
But
existed.
on the Al Capone thing, it's like, and I
Yeah,
could be totally wrong, but
right.
didn't he only go after people that was like part of the whole culture of doing
Yeah,
that to somebody else anyway? Like,
yeah. I'm
wasn't he
sure.
he was a mobster? I know that.
Right.
Wasn't he like, look, bitch,
Right,
I'm the
like
motherfucking man around
Al
here. If you want to
Capone,
try me,
Al Capone made the list with Ivan the Terrible and fucking Adolf Hitler and fucking
right,
Nero and shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, the Valentine's Day Massacre, right? I guess he's famous for that.
right.
But that was killing
Well,
his
see, when you
image,
say
though, like you said, though.
psychopath,
Right.
when you say psychopath,
Okay.
and you put Jeffrey Dahmer and Al Capone in the same psychopath
Yeah.
category, it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's kind of different because
They
Jeffrey
put that.
Dahmer, that was a whole nother psychopath
Yeah,
level.
and they put Ted Bundy in there too.
I agree with how they kind of talked about Al Capone. They said the American gangster. That's what I would call him.
Well,
I
I
call him
guess
a
you could say
gangster.
that
I wouldn't
the
call him a
like
psychopath.
all of those figures and events, I guess they just they put like a lasting effect, or impact on the
Hmm.
world history around the cruelty and all that shit from like psychopathic type of behavior. But like it's like you said though, it's just wild that we would call Caesar a great conqueror, you know what I mean? But Ivan the Terrible, or Vlad the Impaler, or Al Capone even, or what I mean, whoever this guy Nero was, you know what I mean, these guys are psychopathic,
Hmm.
or so and so's
Well, what about
career.
like Oppenheimer that
Right.
created the fucking the atom bomb? Like, I think he would be
Yeah.
considered a psychopath too, but
Shit, or his
he ain't in there.
predecessors that made it the goddamn
Right.
dynamite. The one who won the fucking first Nobel
Nobel.
Peace Prize was the nigga
And
created
then
dynamite.
Einstein. You know what I mean? Like, these
Yeah.
people created mass weapons of mass destruction.
But
Like,
wouldn't you even think though that then if that's the case, seeing that we live in a duality, right, and as above, so shall it be below? Wouldn't Tesla, who created free energy, still also be a psychopath, but in a different kind of way of like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
If
I
they're
would
because if
run
we go with what they're how they're categorizing like
right,
psychopaths right here, like,
right,
obviously it's just one extreme to another is what they
right.
say.
That's what I mean. And then, if you do some more digging, you find out that there was somebody named Caligula. I thought it said Caliuga at first,
Oh,
but I was about to
I
say,
I was about
I
to
was
be like,
about to
whoa,
say,
whoa,
woo,
whoa, whoa.
shit. He was a Roman emperor too. So like, and then there was Elizabeth Bathory, often referred to as the butt bloody countess. Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman, accused for the torture and killing of hundreds of young women. Obviously, Jack the Ripper. Gilles de Rais was a French nobleman. 1404. Like psychopaths or people like the what you consider a psychopath is just so you had like Jack the Ripper who was killing uh um sex workers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
So
he
you
was
got Jack the Ripper that's killing sex workers in the
right,
name of, but then you got Charles Manson that manipulates his cult into committing murders.
right. But then you
And they're
also
the
get like a
same,
Roman emperor. Like I see that's the thing that confuses me. So you have a whole Roman emperor, right? And then you also have Jack the Ripper, who's raping and killing just streetwalkers, right?
hmm
Um, but they're both considered psychopathic. But one is doing it in the name of Rome, so that's okay. The other one's doing it
right,
for its own pleasure, so it's not
right,
okay. I don't know.
right. And
Maybe I'm
then,
crazy.
um, well, okay, so, well, I ain't gonna say nothing about that. I was just gonna say, according to this right here, we're all crazy shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Albert Fish guy, I'd never heard of that person.
Me neither.
And an American. Now, how many of these people are fucking American too? It's
Yeah.
like just a little bit like rest of the world. Y'all motherfuckers ain't ready Y'all,
Very
everybody's always talking about,
Ridgway,
oh,
Charles
we're gonna come over
Manson,
there and take the
yeah,
United States. Man, we got Mansons over here,
Henry
bro.
Holmes,
Shit. We got
Richard
Al Capone's
Ramirez.
around this bit. Y'all motherfuckers are crazy, boy. We got motherfucking Albert Fish, an
And
American serial killer, rapist, and cannibal. Fish is known for his
man,
brutality and sadism. Oh, oh,
Johnny,
oh, oh! Look! I always look for the numbers too, right?
yeah,
And
you
in
right.
in some of these, you got to look at what it is, and you really just take it for what it is and how it was brought to the public. Who, you know, did the media cover it? What, and go look
What
back
up,
at it
Andrew?
because
Oh man,
John
has a
Wayne
good question
Gacy,
though. Is being
John
yeah.
Wayne Gacy, an American serial killer and rapist. Gacy is known for his murders of at least 33 young men and boys. Now, that number right there, if you start looking into a lot of the Manson stuff, a lot of the Dahmer, a lot of the Ted Bundy, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the popular serial killers in America, you will see that there's a 13 or a 33 associated with these motherfuckers, man.
The old man asks, "Is being a genius a mental condition?" And I don't know. Maybe it is. That's a great fucking question because most people that I know, put it like this: I know someone personally, right, who has a very high, IQ, right, borderline genius on his SATs, right. But they also, you know what I mean. He's also as genius as he is. It seems like that's how insane he is too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's like genius is the yin or the yang. Which one is the white side? Whatever, the yin side of the fucking yang. Genius, and then insanity is the yang side, the black side. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the perfect balance. Like, because I don't doubt that Bill Gates has a high IQ, but I don't doubt that he's also maybe borderline crazy or psychopathic because
Right,
the fact that the dude doesn't have a medical degree, but he's established enough money and wealth to pay all of our politicians to allow him to work in fields that he's not
right. And sit there and give advice and shit that he don't even got
professional.
no fucking degree in. Like, motherfucker,
Right.
what you talking about?
It's why
Like
it's like being like,
computer
oh man,
science.
let me talk to my uncle who never got married about marriage. Get the fuck
Right,
out of here. I'm sorry.
right.
I'm not calling the uncle who beats up his women for marriage advice.
Or
You
the
know what I mean?
uncle that's been divorced 8 times or some
Yeah.
shit.
You know what I mean? Or an uncle
Like,
who's still a virgin. Like, nah, bro, you don't even know how to get no pussy, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here trying to give me advice on women. No, no, no. Like, we wouldn't
exactly.
allow that shit, regularly, but in because the government says it, then it's just a whole nother thing.
Right. Well, how about this? So Peru just basically made a statement saying that a person that is transgender is considered mentally ill.
Yeah, that did
Okay,
happen.
so I know somebody that is a neuroscientist that's going
Hmm.
to be on this podcast, and but they're with a trans person.
Wow.
Now they're not a borderline genius. They are a fucking genius. They work in
Yeah.
a goddamn science lab and fucking literally solve shit that helps us continue to live. Like the stuff that we're going to talk about, bro, mind fucking blowing. But according to some people, she would be considered crazy for dating a
Right.
trans woman,
Right.
man, woman, man. And we're just gonna have to get right down to it and ask the questions when she gets on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where's the line is a
Um,
good question, old man. And old man said he was listening to Terrence Howard talk, and he said he was blown away with them. Others think that he's crazy. I don't think that. I think that. Oh man, it's hard. It's hard nowadays, old man. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? It's hard nowadays to try to take actors seriously. You know what I mean? Like you want to. Like what he was talking about definitely was mind blowing, right? And then, but it's like, is it? Uh, if you're getting some mind blowing shit from somebody who is playing a character, is it does it nullify the mind blowing shit?
right,
You know what I mean? So it's like
right,
it's almost like we know dude's an actor, right? How do you know that this isn't a whole role?
exactly.
you know, in the whole grand scheme of the thing that's going on, and I don't mean to be, you know what I mean, like devil's advocate to it, but I see the play that's been happening on our mental health for a long time. You know what I mean? And I know that even a devilish evil person can give you some dope ass motherfucking information, right? So even if we want to just take for example, when the quote unquote serpent, the devil, Lucifer, whoever you want to call him, told Adam and Eve to eat this fruit, or told Eve to eat this fruit, and it quote unquote deceived her. He didn't even tell her no lies though. He
Right.
didn't he didn't lie to her one fucking time when he said, "Hey, if you eat this, you gonna know everything you need to know." He ain't lie.
Right.
He did not lie to her, and she ate the shit. Right. So where is, you know what I mean, like it, like you say, where we kind of, you know, put the lines and shit like that,
Right.
because I fuck with Terrence Howard and what he's saying, you know what I mean, but I also know that he's a fucking Grammy nominated fucking actor. Like if Denzel got into and played a role of being like a crazy scientifically woke person, right?
Right.
Right now,
Yeah.
you would believe it. Why you
Hmm.
think he's got fucking
Well,
awards?
okay. Perfect example. Also, a
Yep, he
few
deceives through
actors,
truth. Yeah.
a few actors have literally let the character carry on, and Joaquin Phoenix, um, he got really deep into a character and became a rapper in real life
Yeah.
because of the fucking character of the movie. And
Yeah.
then also Heath Ledger, which
Yeah.
committed suicide, he got so into the
The
role
Joker.
of the
Yeah.
Joker that he just couldn't get out of it, I guess, or whatever. And so then um, you got people like Will Smith, 50 Cent, that's
Hmm.
fucking changed their whole appearance and carried that little bit of character on just a little bit to kind of like, I don't know, just show
Yeah.
people or fuck with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, an actor's job, the only way an actor gets paid is if they fucking
It's
act.
it's almost like an inception, right? It's almost like a dream within a dream. So like,
And
you know,
when's the
you
last time Terrence Howard was in a
right.
banger movie?
That's a good fucking question. What up,
Terrence
winsday?
Howard probably needs money.
Yeah. Yep. It's up
Just
to the
saying.
listener to determine what's crazy or not, and that is all perspective, like beauty. It's like
I'm not
insanity
saying
and
what he was saying is not amazing
right,
and like
right,
right on, but all
right,
I'm saying is like I heard him quote somebody that I know personally, and I
right,
know that person's a fucking piece of shit, scamming ass motherfucker. And if
right.
I know that Terrence Howard, or if I think that he's that fucking smart that he's going to go on something and quote this person and not know who they are, then that
Yeah,
just threw it all out for me. And
yeah.
maybe I shouldn't look at it like that.
No,
You
I
know what I mean?
understand.
Maybe I'm judging Terrence Howard too
Yeah, that's
much and
but look, bro,
all
that's
that. But
like somebody coming to me and being like, "Oh, Jay, did you see the dude who stole from you? How he's a famous rich rapper now, and he stole all your fucking rhymes and shit like that, and nobody believe. Do you see that shit? You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, like that's like that type of shit. Like I know him personally to be a piece of shit, but everybody loves his fucking music because he stole it from me, and nobody wants to hear me be like, ah, you stole my fucking music. Nobody gives a
exactly,
fuck.
because
You know what I'm
there's
saying?
fucking
Yeah,
20,000 other people saying, "Oh, he this, he that." You know
yeah,
what I
for
mean? Like
sure,
once the
absolutely.
person gets past that level of being on the level of everybody else and gets that shine, and they can hold
I
on
see it
to
all the
it.
time. Just like when
Yep.
I every person, every time I see Billy Carson on somebody else's podcast and he's telling this shit and they're eating it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how many? Where is this? Where is this? There's no end to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's no end to the fuckery. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
cause
okay.
like I said,
So
I know the dude personally to be a piece of fucking shit.
the
He still
last
owes
time we
people
were looking
money.
up on
Like,
him, the last time we checked up on this dude, this is the guy that Terrence Howard recommended. This is mental health too, guys. Okay, this is all mental health. Terrence Howard
yeah,
basically recommended people listen to Billy Carson. That's what he did right there. All right.
yeah.
So now Billy Carson, the last time me and Jason checked up on this dude, because he still owes us money and he ducks us, and the court won't even serve him papers, which is weird also. And so he's in a trial now that we didn't even know about in 2022. He scammed somebody else.
Mhm.
Okay. So this dude is recommended to you by the biggest podcast, which is
Right.
Joe Rogan,
Yep.
has Terrence Howard on, and now
Hmm.
has been basically recommended, and he's a fucking scam artist.
Right. Nuts, right?
Like the last time he was in a financial endeavor with a guy in some cryptocurrency, and he
Oh yeah.
ripped a bunch of people off.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he did.
And he's got an open trial, a case, not trial, but an open case right now.
Well, yeah. Well, one of the people who got ripped off by
So
him,
that's the type of
they
shit
had
that's going on.
a financial advisor who got their money back for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I followed that whole thing the whole time. Like you can find out who
And
these
the
people
guy
are.
that Billy Carson's podcast he was on shilling the shit, the dude don't even live in the United States, so he can't get arrested by any
Right.
type of SEC security
Right.
breach bullshit, blase.
Yep.
And Billy Carson is just the motherfucker that never gets in trouble about it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Now,
because
how is that?
he's a plant.
Now,
That's
why
why
the fuck
Joe.
would
Wait. Wait.
Terrence
Wait. Wait.
Howard?
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Why would Terrence Howard recommend you
Circle.
listen to Billy Carson?
Let's circle it back. No, we talking about mental health awareness, and I know this is all key to. But to make that point and to make that connection for everybody and the people who are listening is that we allow like everything that these people were talking about, you know what I mean, can change the world type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is why this is important. This is why this is our mental health. Okay, if you go and actually listen to this shit, you know what I'm saying, and go and realize what these people are talking about. I'm not saying what they're not talking about. What they're talking about is fake and full of shit. I'm talking about the person who's telling you is fake and full of shit. Now, what does that mean for us? You know what I mean? And what does that mean for our mental health and going forward? Like, how do we be able to confide in each other and to be able to not have all of this type of shit gate kept by some small group of individuals who have more financial gain in the situation than us?
Right. Because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, 99% of people on this planet have no fucking idea what Terrence Howard was talking about. The majority of that.
Yeah,
It sounded good and it
yeah,
adds up when you look
yeah.
at all the everything, but he's giving you a package. He packaged it up really fucking nice. He literally delivered it right there to you and was like, "You want me to play with your balls? Or your vagina? Would
Yeah,
you like for me to? If not,
yeah,
I could just deliver this message right here." And
right,
the message, it's not about like really the math,
right,
right? The math ain't mathing because it
right,
is,
right,
but it's about, like you said, like you've got now people that are going to follow
right,
Terrence Howard for that type of information, and
right.
he might not know what the fuck he's talking about.
Absolutely.
So who's giving him the info?
And that goes for a lot of shit. Like, why is it okay for the politicians to lie? Why is it okay for the weathermen to lie? Why is it okay for our rappers to lie?
Right. Don't
Why is
shoot
it
the
okay?
messenger.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. You know what I'm saying? Why is it okay? Why is it acceptable? Because it's entertaining. Because you know what I mean. It's definitely very fucking intriguing. And I think that the actual
Don't
application.
shoot the messenger if the messenger don't know. But if the
Right, but
messenger is in on it, you got to shoot him.
yeah, well, the actual application of these things never happens. Why is that? How is that we have all of this
Hmm.
fucking knowledge, right?
But it ain't
Forbidden
nothing gonna
knowledge.
happen.
Forbidden knowledge has been speaking this shit for how fucking long? He's got 1 million fucking followers on
On
Instagram,
every
and
platform.
them niggas have yet to have their own 50-acre farm doing their own independent sovereign shit. And he's on stage telling people if we all just stop participating for 60 days, well, how about you take your $1 million? You're a millionaire, right? Why don't you take a couple $1 million, buy some acres, take all the million people who fucking follow you on all these fucking platforms, and y'all motherfuckers just quit the system and break it down right now.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Terrence
Instead,
Howard, hold on, bro. You made millions off of these fucking movies, or you were fucking actually raped by these fucking quote unquote Zionists who run the fucking entertainment industry. Let's
Mhm.
actually apply this shit. Look, what was that fucking product you were taking to make you look 33 and you're 55 years old?
Exactly.
Let's tell me to tell, like, you were showing everybody what it was, but you didn't tell nobody the names of the shit or who the fuck you got it from. You know what I mean? Man, come on, bro. Like these motherfuckers think that people are fucking retarded. They've been playing with our mental health this whole
Hey,
motherfucking time, man.
think about this, man. If Terrence Howard could play on the movie Hustle and Flow
And
and
you
make you
believe he was
believe
a
that he's a
gangster.
real gangster and a real rapper and a real dope boy, and then
Yeah.
people were actually listening to the songs on the radio and buying them and shit, that shows you dude's got a gift.
Yeah,
Okay,
he does.
and so if he
But
can
I don't.
make you, if he can
I
make, if
think
he,
he's a scientific dude though, because I think that those patents I don't believe aren't real. Okay, obviously if you look it up, you know what I mean. He has patents for the whole virtual reality, how we did virtual reality and how we vibrating colors and shit like that. But this ain't nothing that we ain't rapped about though. No, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like a lot
but
of this shit.
why does he own those patents though?
Yeah, I mean that's a good fucking question. You're
Why
absolutely right, bro.
did somebody else actually own them and they just
Who
had him
No,
put in
well, the
his name?
IBM and a
You
lot
know
of
what I
people
mean?
use them. Like a lot of people reference his patent. See what they were able to do to get around paying him is basically reference his patent, but come up with their own. IBM, a bunch of other internet companies and shit like that, and communication companies.
So
They used his patent as a reference to make their own patent. So they referenced him, but he's not getting credit for the actual inventions of these VR
right,
technologies. So like I feel him on getting fucked like that. But then you mentioned Billy Carson, who's a motherfucker who's done just that. He's taken the knowledge that we've put in our music, put it in his podcast and shit like that, and he'll run with that shit, and he hasn't paid us a dime of what he fucking owes us. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same fucking thing. The system played his ass too. You know what I mean? But in the end, you know what I mean? It's just wild to know, like, Martin Luther King is a dope in the image that was given to him. But that wasn't even his real name,
no,
nor nor
Michael King,
nor was he, maybe his mission was what we thought it was.
and
Okay.
he didn't write his fucking speeches. Now,
That
how the
either.
fuck
What
does
up,
that
baby?
work? How does a white uh, Jewish person
Right.
write the most influential civil rights movement man, black man's fucking black savior
He also had a
speeches?
gay black man writing the shit too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So he had a couple of people writing a lot of this shit, and you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? Like he was a
Well,
reverend. You
I
know what I
was
mean?
okay. So
A
I
preacher.
should make myself sound a little more smart. The "I Have a Dream" speech was 100%
Ah,
written by a
yeah,
white Jewish
Jewish
man.
man. Yes, and he's a reverend. We got Reverend Al Sharpton. We got all of these cats are boule. They were all pledged to fraternities in college,
So I just want to say this, man.
but it
So
does
what
play on
this
our mental
means,
health. Yeah,
right? So what this means
yeah,
is when we talk about mental health, you could say Adolf Hitler was the most influential psychopath ever,
right,
but is that affecting your brain as much as Terrence Howard is now?
right,
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
because we're moving forward. We don't really live in the past. I mean, some people
right,
do, but we really don't. We're
right.
moving forward, and so if we move forward in life with all the quantum computing that's on the way and all the crazy shit that's coming, bro, like for somebody to introduce that there's a different way to do everything that we know, it kind of seems like we're being led to some AI God, sentient, whatever the fuck, and some shit all ran by IBM's
Right,
quantum computing.
right, yeah.
And
I,
so on the mental health part of that, that's like what, like somebody might hear me right now and be like, what the fuck is he even talking about? And see, but didn't I just intrigue you?
crazy
You know what
ass.
I'm saying? Like, I caught your attention for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
And now, if I want to, I could fill your head up with all kind of bullshit, especially if I had a platform like Howard
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or Rogan. Shit, if we was as big as Joe Rogan, bro, we could have somebody on here and fucking everybody be talking about it tomorrow.
Bro,
Y'all see what I'm saying?
it's wild
It's
to
it's
think.
how it's how you're
Yeah,
given this information,
yeah. Well, it
which
it plays
determines
key.
how it's going to play
Bro,
key,
if
right?
you believe that Martin Luther King is who they told you Martin Luther King was, doesn't that fuck with your mental? As a hold on, as a black person, or even as a person who's witnessed what happened throughout history, we that we've lived, that wouldn't they teach this shit in school and everything? That wouldn't build a complex. Like I don't think that people understand like everything that they teach us in the schools. and everything like that plays on our psyche. You know what I mean? Plays on our
Yep.
mental health and the awareness that we have of our mental health, and that puts us. It gives us because all right, Martin Luther King looks like me. Oh, Barack Obama was half black and he was the president. You know what I mean? Oh,
Right.
black people can do whatever, right?
I
You
got
you could be president if you're a black man, but then you find out who the dude really is, and there's no
mm-hmm.
fucking way that a regular black dude can just be fucking president. Like it's still a fucking facade. You know what I mean? Not to
Right.
even sound like fucked up like that, but it's just the truth. Like all of the presidents are related, and a fourth grader did a
Well,
whole
it's you know
report
what?
about it to find that
I'll
out.
I'll say this too. I'll say it's fucking crazy to think any white man, any Indian man, any Asian man, just any man can be president. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and that's how deep the mental health goes. It's like
Yeah, man.
everything's a fucking facade.
They've had us in a
And
chokehold, man.
so what about this though? So let's just
Yeah,
change, hit the
yeah.
speed bump real quick. So
Right,
what
right.
about Britney Spears?
Damn.
Okay, Britney Spears used to be one of the most beautiful, most capable, most all of these things, right?
For a moment, she was like the mascot for America.
Right. And then all of a sudden it was like she just went crazy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And she
yeah.
was put in the institution. She
Hmm.
shaved her head. She got arrested. She almost got her kids taken or did for a little bit or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh,
We've seen the recent videos. God damn, what the fuck?
and it's like Britney Spears was being controlled
Wow. Yeah.
the whole time. Like they were medicating this person
Mm,
when she didn't want to be medicated, regardless if she was crazy or not.
yeah.
The reason why they took control of this person was because of the money.
Or the influence more than
Right.
anything.
But the people close to her, they did it for the money. And then the
Hmm.
bigger picture was obviously for the influence. But like the people close to her was like, you know what? We can either keep her operating even if she don't want to be like this, or we can not. And if we don't got the money.
Yeah.
And so Britney Spears, bro, it's almost like, and I know this is about to sound real weird, but if somebody is that mentally ill, it's almost like they've been slaving her out
Yeah.
for so many years.
Yeah.
Because if
Mentally
somebody's
ill.
that mentally ill to where they need to be on those powerful medications, then how in the fuck can they go out there and perform?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense, man.
It don't.
How the fuck could y'all
And
make this
and and
person
and
do this
we've
shit
seen like
and she don't want to do it?
we've seen those videos, right? What was it? What was that movie that just came out about those Nickelodeon and Disney kids, Quiet on
Yeah,
Set,
yeah,
right? You mean we see what these fucking adults have been doing to the children? Like it's not like we don't know that this
exactly, bro.
child
Think about this,
trafficking
man.
and
Think
well,
about
so
it.
I'm just talking about Britney's origins, okay? Just so
Right.
like we could kind of understand how they got a grasp of her mental health and
Think about
completely
if they
demolished it.
took if you took your daughter, like say for instance, okay,
Yeah,
so Britney Spears' dad had conservatorship over her, right? So
right.
this thing, you took your daughter to the psychiatric hospital and they recommend that she get rest and focus on her mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, I'm gonna go somewhere else and get another opinion. And the
Right.
next opinion you go to, the person says, "Oh yeah, she should perform plenty of more world tours. She should be stressed out. It should be extremely strenuous on her, and she could just take all this fucking crazy medication to keep her halfway functioning."
Right. Function. Yeah.
Now, which one makes more sense for the fucking person?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
obviously there's like there was a drive of big players in that to take advantage of her mental health, take advantage of that situation and make it about the money.
and think about this though. That's not the only time that that shit happened to people like that. There's many a times where um, people conspire to put people in those nut houses in order to take their estates or to get their wealth from them. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so now you got somebody locked up in a mental ward, you know what I mean, and getting fed this medication to keep them fucking dumbed down, and they're not even fucking crazy at all.
All right.
We talking
Well,
about, you know what I mean?
you know what, man? I listened to something the other day, and it goes right along with what you're saying, basically. So
Yeah,
think about this. Think about the Obamacare, and think
yeah,
about how just about everybody eventually probably is going to be able to be on Medicare
right,
soon, and
right,
how they've kind of bridged the gap between insurance and Medicare, and it's almost the same fucking thing right now.
right.
So just think about this: when you die, if you're on Medicare,
Uh huh.
nobody in your family gets anything of yours until all of your shit's paid off. That
Oh
means
shit.
all of the so like if you were in a hospital before you died,
Right,
that bill that has to be paid, so they're going to sell your house. Um, if you owed any money to anybody, that's gonna get collected. Your funeral,
right,
all the shit, bro. That you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so like being on a socialist type insurance that
Mm-hmm.
everybody just gets on, which would be considered Medicare in fucking America, that locks people the fuck up like
Yeah, it
that.
does.
Like and that's playing on mental health also. Like
It
think
does.
about that.
It
Like
does. And if you don't have the right information, like, oh, I put my will in a trust, you know what I mean?
exactly. Like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
if you're
shit like
mentally
that.
I'm
Yeah.
getting at what if you're
Yep.
mentally ill?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there a clause in there? No, there's not.
No. Right.
So what if you get deemed mentally ill by somebody
Yeah.
just because?
Well,
Like what if
you're
Kanye
on
West gets deemed
Obamacare.
right?
You're
Exactly. What if
you're
Kanye West gets deemed whatever and he's got Obamacare because that's the only insurance you could get?
right.
So that means then Kanye West might die a billionaire,
Yeah.
but if he owes
That yeah.
this, or somebody wants to take that, can't nobody
Yeah.
get to it. He can't even
Unless he
write a will.
yeah, he gotta do everything. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's
That's
crazy,
nuts.
man.
That is nuts, bro. That is nuts
All in
to
the
think
name
that.
of mental illness.
And they would give you they would gladly give you free healthcare and be like, yeah, it's free. You know what I'm
Fuck
saying?
yeah, they would.
So they
We're
can
gonna get
take
you on
all
the
your
back
shit.
end.
Oh shit, that's some
And
hustle
that's how
shit
they
right
look.
there.
That's how the music industries ran.
That's like they
That's how
fronted you
all
your life.
entertainment, that's how banking, all of it's ran. We'll give you this and we'll get ours on the back end.
Yeah,
It's the
yep,
same people.
absolutely right. That shit is so wild to think about, man. This is the type of world we're living in where our mental health has been so compromised that we've used celebrities as turning points in understanding mental health. Like you
Yep.
take a person and you give them fame and fortune and run them in the ground doing performances like a slave, and then just like, oh, look how they
Hmm.
fucking broke. And then they fucking document it as a turning point in our
Right.
fucking mental health in the
Or
world.
like,
That
the
shit is so
periodic
fucking
table
nuts,
gets
man.
thrown out the window. And
Yeah,
then oh yeah, genders. They really don't make
yeah,
sense anymore either way.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and you're right. This DNA does deserve more in
Mm-hmm.
life.
Yep.
You're right. This type of people, I mean, you see where it can go.
Yeah,
This
it
shit
goes
is so
everywhere, bro.
much. It ain't just about
It's
Terrence
still
Howard on the
remember
Rogan
we
show,
laughed
bro.
remember we laughed how in the 1800s they determined the size and shape of your skull as the reason why you would have mental issues or not.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like we're still there. We
Yep.
haven't left there. Think about
We
that from
haven't
what you
left the
just said.
lobotomy table, bro.
Well, it's just liquid or pill form lobotomy now, right? We
Or
have
is
not left.
Thorazine? That's basically a
Yeah.
short form of lobotomy. Like you come back from it, but if you get hit another time with that shot, it's over with, bro. Thorazine, you're
Oh,
gone.
fucking A.
So
Didn't
it's
they
like
talk about
they
using
they
that
said
as
fuck
like
it.
a
They said
fucking like
we'll
a
stop using the straitjacket unless we
yeah.
absolutely need to.
I thought that
And
isn't
then
that a death penalty option in some states or something where they just vegetabilize you or some shit like that? I thought that was another. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I gotta do some more research. I thought Thorazine
uh,
they were using that for some other shit too now, but
oh,
maybe
I
that's
wouldn't
just
doubt it. Sure, they
yeah. I
probably
wouldn't doubt it
use
either.
Thorazine to do all kind of different tests.
that shit is fucking nuts. And it was, developed for your mental health to fucking, like you said, liquid lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
A lobotomy and
Mm.
a shot, buddy. Go
Yeah,
get your
man.
vaccine if you scared. Go being a pussy. Being a
Yeah, like
pussy,
that
you
dude
little
said. He
bitch.
said,
He said, you
"You,
little bitches.
you snowflakes, you're just
You fuck,
scared of a
y'all
needle.
scared. Y'all fucking
Just
scared of.
you're just
You talking
scared
about
of a
do
shot."
your own research. You're just a pussy.
Yeah.
You're just scared. Talking about you did your own research. Don't listen to Terrence Howard and Joe Rogan. And you know what? I don't want this show to get taken down because I feel like this was a good episode, right? But I like to say this to YouTube and to any other place that's been taking our shit down. Y'all better take Joe Rogan's shit down too, or I'm gonna say shit like, yes, the government deliberately tried to poison us with the vaccine. Okay, they said that shit on Joe Rogan's show. Let's see if our show gets fucking taken down. They said, yeah, when the government, it came right out of Terrence Howard's mouth.
Yep.
He said it. Not me. I just quote Terrence Howard
Yep.
said on the Joe Rogan show that the government tried to poison us with the vaccine because it's not really a vaccine. It talks to your RNA.
Here's the greatest bait ever. We could come back in a couple days and say whether it got taken off YouTube
Yeah,
or
I'll be
not.
able to let you know if they took it down. I'll let you know if YouTube took this show down. They keep threatening us with giving us a strike, but good looking on Podbean since it's distributed through Podbean. I don't know what Podbean doing. Podbean like, hey man, don't give them a strike. Just take it down. You know we cool YouTube.
Yeah.
So good look on maybe Podbean helping us out with that. But you know what? I just want to test this freedom of speech type shit that goes on because I made a post on my Facebook that I feel that a lot of people could say that type of shit and get away with it because they're industry plants. You know what I mean? They're planted there by the industry. Joe Rogan can say, "Yeah, I took a strong stand on it. He had a whole his pot. He did take it. He said, I'm not getting that fucking vaccine because of this, and this, and this. So did fucking
Hmm.
goddamn
Remember they
Aaron
demonized
Rodgers and
him, and
yeah,
remember that you. Oh, so check it out. You remember, bro, on the mental
I
health
do.
subject still, that
Yeah,
during this crazy psyop time, when
right,
Joe Rogan said he wasn't taking the shot because he just didn't think he needed it,
right,
and he was, and then when he got COVID,
right,
he was started taking ivermectin and some other
right,
all kind of other stuff. And
right,
so the picture that CNN put up of him, they literally edited the picture to make Joe Rogan's face look sickly.
right.
I remember this part of life, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so now it's
You
like,
experienced this, right?
so the guy, they put him through the runner, and now it's okay. Like what happened
Bro,
there?
they
You
I
see what I'm
think it
saying?
was that's what I mean. I feel like it's a whole game that they be playing on that side of shit
Mm-hmm.
that to fuck with our mental, to fuck with our psyche, bro, to make us think that, you know what I mean, this and this and this and this. When shit, in all reality, we got scientific proof that mind over matter exists. So if like
Right.
why isn't that being preached? Well shit, mind over matter. Like so like that would make us the nucleus, our soul, basically the nucleus of this whole reality. You know what I mean? Then that's a whole nother entire topic. That's the which we fucking keep trying to tell y'all and explain to y'all that we found the direct connection between your mental health and your spiritual health, and they knew that millennia ago.
Yeah.
400, 4,000,
Four or five,
four to
yeah,
5,000
5,000
years.
BCE,
Yeah, come on, guys. Like they knew
before
this.
Christ existed ever, during the saber tooth and mammoth
Before any
years.
of this shit, I'm just saying they knew like our spiritual well being is directly connected to our mental well being. There's a direct connection. So when these motherfuckers do that to our mental, what do you think they're really trying to get at? You feel what I mean? So this is the
Right.
big point that we've been trying to make. The difference between them and me is that they have the money to fight. I don't. I don't. Yeah, slam the little guy. You're right. I feel you. They do have the
Mm-hmm.
money to fight, but what I think like it's like a play, like a Shakespearean play. Where like, all right, Joe Rogan, we're gonna drag you through the ringer a little bit, bro, and then we want you to fight back. We'll create this cool, and everybody's getting paid because now they watch Fox News to see what they're gonna say about Joe Rogan. It's like a diss track. It's like with
Mm-hmm.
Drake versus Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? It's just the same thing. Let's see what Joe Rogan's diss track says, and they just listen to his next
Right.
podcast now.
You know
And then
what
they're
it's
like,
like
oh, well,
also? It's like when the Democrat and the Republican
yeah,
side of politics, they decide to come together on
yep,
certain things. That's exactly what it seems like to me. It's like you got this psyop over here, you got this
yep,
psyop over here, and sometimes they need to come
it's a
together
and it's
to complete the whole fucking psyop.
yep, and it's a mental psyop to gain control over your spirit. That's what I think it is. You know what I mean? Like I think they will allow you to have a little
Well,
bit
what
of
is
the
it?
truth.
Think about it, bro. Like, just I might say I'm gonna go on a Terrence Howard real quick. Okay, see how many people talks about me tomorrow. But nah, think about this. Energy is what is literally what everybody's after.
Right,
It powers everything, and there's multiple different types of energy.
right,
Or no, let me. There's multiple different types of ways that you can manipulate energy
right.
on this earth. So you could take oil that's not doing a fucking thing. It's still got the energy in it. You just got to do some alchemy to it
Mm-hmm.
to create whatever you're trying to get out of it, which would be, like fucking driving a
Energy,
car or
right?
whatever,
Driving a car, right,
powering whatever. So,
right.
um, if that's the most sought after, valuable thing, basically,
Is our energy, right?
then that means our energy also.
Yeah.
That means our soul, our spirit,
Oh
our
yeah.
energy,
Oh
our
yeah.
actual true makeup of not this physical body, but
Right.
our energy.
Yep. I think that's the biggest psyop is to
And if they
make
can
you.
get
Mm-hmm.
more energy on their side for their cause, then they can complete their
Ooh.
psyop or their mission.
Let me Bicky let me take that oop real quick, and I'm about to slam dunk it right here. When we talk about divide and conquer, it's not just black versus white, Ukraine versus Russia.
Republican versus Democrat.
It's mind against your soul, and your soul against your body, body against mind. That's also the separation. That's what they want to conquer that. And in order to conquer that, they have to divide it. You have to, now you don't know what spirituality is. You think it's religion.
Mm-hmm.
Now you think your mind controls all of your thoughts and then now you don't listen to your gut.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yep, mind and heart, old man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to keep that shit separated. If that's the divide and conquer. The true divide and conquer is within. It's not without. It's because everything starts within you before it comes without. If we are the expressing this whole reality, we are the ones expressing the reality that we fucking coexist in. So when it comes to this mental health, since they know that if they get your mind, they got your heart, they got your soul. So that's what they want. Like Nova said, that's the real energy, the thing that never dies. That not the flesh bag, the thing that just transmute. Energy never dies. We've been scientifically proven it. We understand it. Why do you think there's a hadron collider called CERN?
Exactly.
You
And
know what I'm
that's the
saying? So,
actually to I don't know if people realize, I didn't until I found this out. CERN, the actual collider that we talk
mm,
about, and that long ass tunnel that has to be to get it to hit that hard, and to be able to travel that fast, etc. That's the biggest thing that's ever been built.
yeah.
It
Damn.
literally, they bored out fucking mountains and
I didn't
built
know
that
that.
bitch inside of mountains, bigger than anything though.
Yeah, I
Any
didn't know that.
skyscraper, boat, fucking whatever, baseball, football stadium, anything. This motherfucker is so huge and it travels so far. It's ridiculous. And it makes you wonder, how long did it take these fucking people
Right.
to build this shit?
They probably had to update the
How
old
long have
parts.
they been building this
Mhm.
motherfucker? And how
Old
many
man,
things like that are underneath that we don't even know
they
about?
know. Yeah, that's not that they don't tell us about.
And that right there will if you dig into life, bro, it'll weigh on your mental health.
It will, but you gotta understand that you aren't what you see in the mirror. You know what I mean? The
You got to let that energy flow also.
Yeah. Old man says, "Does anyone say follow your heart anymore?" I told him that's a good question. I said, we're only talking about love. For some reason, people say, "Oh, well, follow your heart." But when you're talking about like any other financial decisions or anything that has to do with maybe the shared reality, people don't tell you to follow your heart anymore. Like going after your uh
Yeah. People say the thing is nowadays is like which I agree with a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's
Oh,
like,
Maven got a
don't
good
listen to
question
your
in there too.
emotions. Don't listen
Yeah,
to your emotions. Your
yeah,
emotions will get you messed up. It's like,
yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa. So I can only listen to my brain.
I think they destroyed those filters. You know what I mean? Those filters and firewalls that we used to naturally have. Great question though. Maven says, "Are the heart and spirit and mind two different things or parts of an integrated whole?" I could see it either way. What do you think? Good question. I would think that I don't know, I guess you want to say they are and aren't. I guess they are the same thing, as in they work in symbiotic, just like how we have like an endocannabinoid system that's for cannabinoids like THC and weed and shit like that. And like we have that's the only plant our bodies have a symbiotic relationship with. I think it's more like a symbiotic relationship. So if like one is failing, then it detriments the other. They have to work
Yeah,
together. Yeah, like that's what the old man said. Yeah, and that's what I would think. More of like a system. So not yeah, I guess integrate different parts that are integrated as a whole. But I believe that there's like outside ways of being able to tap into one's mind to and corrupt that data, just that data of the mind, enough to persuade the soul to do something that it would not, or the heart to something that it would normally not naturally do. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. So I think, like, I guess when it comes to the mental health, it's almost like it's been um they've destroyed those filters in between the spirit, the mind, and the heart type shit. You know what I mean? Like they've made those filters so big that we don't. None of the bullshit gets filtered out anymore. Everything gets shoved right in there. And if you don't have like the backup filters, or you don't reset your fucking whole system, then like you can get lost in the translation. And I think that's what you would call, I guess, a mental illness.
yeah. I definitely think that when you get lost in the translation of all of it, you're lost. So I mean, kind of ill, bro.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
you really don't
Well,
know. You
a
know.
bird born to the cage thinks flying is ill.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If a bird born to the cage, they've scientifically proven that a bird who's born in a cage, who never seen a bird fly, would see another bird fly and think that that bird was sick.
Yep. Well, somebody born in the United States, raised in the United States, is probably and never travels outside of the United States and doesn't expand their mind on their own,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably going to think that like China's just terrible
Yeah.
and Russia's horrible
Mm-hmm.
and Vietnam is the worst
And
and Mexico sucks.
and I could
But
take
in
depression
all reality,
medication
all
instead
of
of.
that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah. And
I
then
mean,
when it comes to what to eat, how to think, all of that shit, you know what I mean? Like for them to get the experiences that we have, it's impossible. You know what I mean? They can't live through us witnessing 9/11 and then them saying it was Osama bin Laden, and then 20 years later we find out that it's impossible to melt steel with.
well, well, hold on
You
though.
know what I mean?
It's even more of a jumble fuck when you think about 9/11 happened, and then who got involved in that?
Yeah.
Fucking Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
This like they wanted Saddam Hussein so bad, bro, that they
Mm-hmm.
had to do it two times.
Yep.
And the second time they had to. I don't know who they is at this point. You know, I'm just daying. I'm daying
Yeah.
around here,
But it's
but
just wild
they
though.
or it happened to the fact that going with the thing that some planes hit some buildings,
Hmm.
and people did die.
Yeah.
That's not the fake. The fake part is not that
Right.
people didn't die. People did die.
The
So the mental
fake
health
part.
on that
The
also is
fake part
is
is that the
that's
dude.
that's why
Wait.
people can't get to
Yeah.
an agreement
Yeah.
because there's so much shit playing on our mental health
And
with
then
that. Because
we
if you tell
forget
somebody
too.
it's fake, bro, then they're like, "Well, what are you talking about?
Well, but
My uncle
like you
died."
said though, bro. Like we forget though, bro. Like we're kind of old. You know what I'm saying? So like we forget that there's a whole generation where like they don't like that's literally in their history books.
Right.
What up,
Right.
Winnie? What up, Winnie? It's
Yeah,
literally in the
she's
motherfucker.
loud.
It's literally in the history books. You know what I mean? Like it's in their history books. Like they'd have no idea how dope of an artist Lil Wayne was. They think he's old. They have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Right.
type. That's how young they are. So it's like, damn, this shit to them is what their history books say is that Osama bin Laden did this shit, and then we went and got that motherfucker. Right? That's what our history books say. They
Yeah.
say Osama bin Laden was the one responsible for it. You know what
And
I mean?
then dumped him into the ocean
And then
just
dumped it.
because.
And then they did it because he's a psychopath. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
technically by their
But why
definition
wouldn't you want
of
to study dude's brain though?
yeah, and
If
on
he's a
some real shit,
psychopath.
technically, our whole American government, the FBI, the CIA, every military branch is psychopathic. Then
Yeah, exactly. If
by their
that
definition,
is.
yeah, like all of it is fucking psychopathic. Then like how many motherfuckers did they drop bombs? How many innocent motherfuckers died before they got the motherfucker that they wanted to get?
Right. And
I
when you
mean,
wake up to realize that nothing around us is safe like we thought it was. Everything is psychopathic.
yeah.
Everything that's supposed to protect you from the psychopath is also a psychopath and could turn on you at any moment in time. Then you
I
kind of
think we should
realize like,
accept.
damn, like I've made it through all of this. There's no
Yeah,
reason to be scared.
yeah.
Like
I
I
think
made
we.
it through this stuff when I didn't know about it.
Yeah,
And so now that I know about it, I'm not going to be
that's a level.
scared. I'm
That's
just
a
going to
level of
continue to
acceptance, bro. You. What you're explaining is what I was. This is, I was literally about to say. Like you have to have a level of acceptance that insanity and genius kind of go hand in like this. You know what I mean? Like love and hate. Like
right,
you know what I'm saying? Like light and dark. You know what I mean? The absence of. You know what I mean? But that's not the absence of per se. It's just the opposite or whatever. You know what I mean? Like insanity and genius is the yin and yang in your mental health balance. So
right,
you have to be insane enough to tell the government, "Fuck you, I won't take that fucking shot." But you also have to be genius enough to know why.
right,
That's all I
right.
gotta say about that. Somebody need to give me a motherfucking hand clap.
Oh man. Hey, you know
Oh
this?
shit.
You know how we got introduced to fact checkers? This is just off the wall, but I was
Yeah.
going to
Well.
mention it.
Yeah.
Okay, so through COVID and all that, we got
Right. Right.
introduced to these fact checkers. Well, nobody knew who these fact checkers were. We just knew that we heard about the fact checker said, and we're like, is it people, whatever? Well, now, especially on X, and X does everything first. It seems like everybody hates X, but then everybody does what they do. So anyway,
Right.
Twitter, aka X, um, fucking
Thanks, old man.
now instead of having fact checkers or a community of people judging something on the community guidelines, community notes, how they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, well, not now, but soon, when you see someone's post, you can ask Grok, the AI on X, to
To
fact
fact
check it
check
for
it?
you.
Oh
Yes.
shit. Go
So
ahead, Grok.
so it's like so you see how like the fact checking got ushered in also through COVID.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We can't even realize how many things that are going to change the way we live and act and all
Yeah.
came in during that time.
I
and
feel you, Maven. It does seem like a really bad idea.
and I feel like everybody's mental health kind of suffered a little bit through that.
It's almost like every post needs a disclaimer that says may or may not be fucking true.
Allegedly.
A look it up yourself type shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
videos, because like I've seen videos and little commercials that are just there's definitely AI, but it's really good AI, and people don't know the difference. Like especially the older group of late guys and goddesses out here who've been around because they're not too technology savvy, so they might see somebody talking and see their lips moving and everything like that, but they may not realize that that's not like a real person and shit. You mean that's another
Right.
play on your mental health as well because they're throwing that in. They're throwing videos and shit and imagery in there, and they're really trying to see if we can recognize what is legitimate and what's not. And I'm sure that we've gotten tricked plenty of fucking times with this shit.
Right.
She said we should approach all information that we find every day that way. I agree with that. Like sometimes
Yeah.
it gets on my nerves because I teach my kid that, but they do that to me even. You know how like when you have a trusted guide. Like I'm their dad. I'm not gonna fucking lie to them. You know what I mean? I never
Right.
told them that Santa was real. I was the one that was like, man, y'all full of shit. Ain't no fucking Santa. You know what I mean? I was telling my kid, I was telling my kids, ain't no fucking Santa. I'm buying you this shit. I don't know why you
Right.
keep thinking there's a fucking Santa Claus. They looking at me like there is, Dad. I'm like, no, the fuck
Don't
it
care
ain't.
what you
I
say.
don't give a fuck what you say. Right? We would argue. I would argue with my kids. I was so adamant about telling them the fucking truth, and I still advocate for that
He's
shit to
got a
this
fucking
day.
red sled and it's nice.
Yeah, I told my daughter, if a 350-pound fat man came through my fucking chimney, I'm shooting his ass. Santa's
Right.
dead, bro. Like, you think it's a nigga walk around my house early in the fucking morning that I don't know about? Santa's fucking toast. Don't let me see a 300-pound man come through my fucking chimney. I don't give a fuck. White, black, green, yellow, alien looking. I don't give a fuck. He might
Right.
get fucking shot. So,
Yeah.
I just was a testament to the truth. You know what I mean? Trust nothing, verify everything. Exactly, old man. And
Yeah.
my kids even do it to do it to me today. You know what I mean? They'll be like, "Oh yeah, well I'm gonna look it up," and then normally
Right.
they find out that I'm telling them the truth, even if it's a harsh truth or not. They find out it's the truth, and they're like, "Well, fuck it." You know what I mean? You were right, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, even though you didn't want to hear that answer." You know what I mean? But everybody's not like me. Everybody's not trying to find a truth to it. They're trying to find their truth. I keep hearing this statement. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, King. Live your truth, King. Live your truth, King. Isn't that what these psychopaths are fucking doing? Living
Yeah.
their truth. Wouldn't that fucking be technically what Adolf Hitler did? He lived his truth. This is what the fuck he believed, and he enforced it on everybody else, and that's cool. That was his truth. You know what I mean? Live your truth,
Right.
King. I don't know about that statement anymore. Live your truth. No, live the truth.
Yeah.
Put
I
your
don't know about a
foundation
lot
in
of these
truth.
statements. A lot of these statements sound so fucking stupid to me. I'm like, man, you walk
Live your
around living
truth.
like that? Hey, think
Live
about
your
this,
truth.
bro. So this is the
Man.
other little mind blowing thing I was gonna say. So all right, so I heard these people talking on Bloomberg. They were talking about like future investments and shit, right?
Hmm.
And this guy was talking about how eventually there will be no more human driven data.
Mm.
Meaning
What's that?
and
Yeah.
so there will be no more data that can be taken and or stored by from human beings and by human beings. So what the guy was saying was is eventually there will be no more humans involved in how data
It's
is
collected.
produced and collected. It will
Whoa.
all be AI working with quantum
AI.
computing.
AI working with AI.
Right. Bro, that I mean, think of man. So I'm like, so I'm when I hear that, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, what the fuck does that really mean though? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is AI gonna get so advanced to the point to where there's no fucking need for a human to even
So
like
so you're telling me that
like
for
we're not
like
gonna need to
eventually
get
I'm
data from humans
right.
because
So you're telling me that it's really just going to be like, hey, AI, create me a content video promoting my Think High Crew podcast. Include this and this and this and this in recent photos from my photo album and blah 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 blah, and then it'll just fucking make it.
exactly.
Is that what they mean? Like it creates
Well,
you
yeah, I
tell
mean it's
well
gonna be
obviously
doing
because
that.
like you still have to tell it right, or is it saying like you don't even have to? You know what I mean? I'm
What it's
trying to
saying
get there.
is the human will be completely taken out of the equation and won't be needed to advertise to like there will be no need for human data
Huh,
because the human won't
Maven
be
says, I think he might have admit humans won't collect the data, but the data will be about humans. Huh.
mm, I don't think this guy meant that. I mean he might have, but
Right.
like the way that they were because it was all about some AI shit. Like it was basically saying like AI is going to have so many different jobs that it falls into and does, and to the point that there's not going to be, I know this sounds weird, but there's not going to be a real use for human data.
Collect. Huh.
Like like AI is going to be working with AI.
Right.
AI is going to be talking to other AIs and doing all this
Right.
AI shit. And so at the end of the day, like
Well, I mean, I
the
can get on
language,
Facebook right now and I
the
can tell that.
language that it would need to speak would be
Right.
like so primitive that AI is just going to zoom on past our data
Right. The
and
old
not
man says
even work
he,
off of our data.
AI can only do what it's been programmed to do. He said, "Unplug it." Hey, well, I got a devil's advocate question for you on that. Like, what if
Have you
AI?
seen the have you
Hold on,
seen the
no.
IBM quantum computer that they're
What if
creating?
the AI is connected
Oh,
to the ether though? Like, what if all the infinite amount of information that AI is pulling from is connected
it's not
to that?
from Google.
It's not from here, or it's not from humans. It's from our collective consciousness, which is quote unquote the ether. You know what I mean? Fourth dimensional type fucking information. Like, what if they've tapped into the fourth dimension and AI is just the body that our collective consciousness gets to fucking incarnate into?
I
So how do
mean,
you turn that? How do you turn off? How do you turn that off?
hey, look, bro, we do know, and this is old news. We do know that there's CIA that can take a fucking sample of a goddamn room and
Yeah.
get the sound and imagery from it from 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, they have the technology. I can't
Now,
remember what they
if we
fucking
can do
call
that
it.
and we know about it and it's old news, maybe AI is tapped into everything around us. And I don't even know how that makes sense to the normal
Yeah.
person,
Well,
even
I just don't
myself.
know. I
But
don't know if that's a portal that can
maybe
be.
Terrence Howard can explain it
I
to
know,
us.
maybe. Hey, the old man says
He might have
unplug
a
it.
patent for it.
But I'm saying what I'm saying, old man, is that I don't think it's plugged into the wall. Like I think it's plugged into the collective consciousness. I don't think it's like a portal that you can't close. You know what I mean? It's like that one portal that's like, oh, we opened this fucking portal and it's just big enough to gather this
I'll tell you
fucking
what it's
data
like.
through.
It's
But it,
like the Bitcoin network and
yeah,
protocol. You
yeah,
can't stop it.
yeah.
Like you might make people be able to not be able to whatever, but look,
It'll
the
always
actual
exist.
the living breathing internet, the living breathing Bitcoin protocol, Windows 95, motherfucking iOS 17. These are things that are created and can never fucking go away.
Right.
Like I mean, I know that sounds real strange, but the ether can't either. And what if all
Yeah.
these things are just like
Connected to
surviving
that.
in this other little
Yeah.
area?
I wouldn't see why not. I mean, shit, if all of it is, and that's on some, like I said, the spiritual and the mental health being like completely connected. We might have to
Bro,
come
think
back
about this.
Friday
All of
and
our lives
on
right
that one.
now, Jason, our
Yeah,
most people's whole life is
right.
sitting on a fucking server somewhere,
You
bro.
right. You
Think
absolutely
about
fucking
that.
right, bro.
I mean,
My
I can
my
get into some
documented
Terrence
life
Howard. You know what I mean?
since
Like, hey,
my
think about it, bro.
my s-
Everything that my daughter and probably your daughter,
yes,
since they've been a kid, you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like everything that they've done is
yeah.
somehow, some way in a fucking server somewhere.
Cut the red wire, old man said. You're right.
So
I'm
maybe that's
probably the
why there's no more human data that will be needed because
yeah,
there will be so much human data on so many servers around the whole world. There's
yeah.
no reason
No
for any
reason
more of
for
it.
it. Yeah, that's possible.
There's nothing new under the
Mhm.
sun. We don't change. We still don't know what mental health is or how to solve it. You know, the Sumerians were doing the same thing we were, and the Neanderthals were too. So how do we know that AI ain't been around a lot longer than we know about, and all of our information sitting on servers any fucking way?
Yeah,
So that's what
since my
everything,
freshman year in college should be recorded on Facebook. You know what I mean? So like, but before
right?
that, obviously, seeing that we didn't have that technology, before that. So before that,
MySpace.
yeah, I mean, but I didn't. I don't think I had MySpace, but I didn't even use it. I used Facebook. Like the first time I got
I was just
introduction to,
saying, you know,
yeah,
MySpace is another.
right.
And
So
then,
yeah,
and the
it
reason
was
why Twitter is so valuable is because it was the first like social media type joint. You know what I mean?
right. And well, Facebook was just for college kids, and I remember that shit, and I signed up for it, and that's still the same account that I use to this fucking day. So I know for a fact that you know what I'm saying. My life from my at least my freshman year in college up until now is fucking recorded on fucking Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even if I took breaks from it and didn't,
But man, I
you
look
know what I mean?
back in history, and I've found multiple things that are just like social media, but it was in a physical form instead.
Ooh, do you know? Hey, Maven, you said that people being born every day, new data sources. Hey, guess what? They have this shit now. They have this pill where they're trying to get parents to allow them to put it in their babies type shit that can monitor their health and wellness throughout their entire life. And it's basically almost like those nanobots, so they can know the baby's iron levels, all of you can know everything about your child, right? And you can get it on your phone type shit. So the child swallows this pill, this small device where they put it in something, and they give it to the child, and then from there on out you can monitor your child's fucking health. Holy fuck,
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? They have it for fucking adults too. And then you
Right.
can you get it tells you when you need to take your medication. It tells you if your heart rate spikes, if it can read all your shit. If you're They can tell if you're unhappy or sad, or you know what I mean, some
Yeah.
shit like that. Like it's a whole fucking little nanobot system that they the world health, no, it's not who, the World Economic Forum. It was a lady who was presenting the fucking technology and said that they've already tested it in this many humans, and it works. She's like, we have a pill that you could swallow, and it'll do your whole dietary system for you, and tell even suggest you what meals you should cook and eat.
Yeah. I mean, shit, man. You
Whew.
could get real close to that with
I
your Apple, your phone.
said, I don't need another mom.
Right.
I feel you, but that's just scary though. That even that, in that sense, even though like new babies are born and we're thinking, oh great, new data sources. They're like, nah, AI still collect that data because we'll put these nanobots in your fucking kid, and we'll know everything about your fucking kid from the time that it's fucking out of the womb until it fucking passes away. And then that's another reason why I'm scared of that vaccine, or not scared. I'm not really afraid of it, of a shot, but or because of the fact that it fucks with your DNA. You know what I mean? It talks to your fucking RNA, so that can do a lot of shit that people are unaware of. We're about to probably get cut off of here.
Yeah, we got about 50 seconds.
Oh, yep. Okay. Well, I like to say I appreciate y'all. Maybe, of course, old man always, and everybody stopping by, listen to this crazy episode of motherfucking What the Fuck Wednesday for the month of May and our mental health. We'll be back on Friday to celebrate the end of the week. Don't be weekend by the week. I hope y'all had a good one. No, take us away, man.
We got 30 seconds. We don't even got no time for anything.
But it's
I was
for
just
you
gonna,
though. You go ahead, give us
yeah.
that power.
Uh, oh man,
Nova shit. Come on, let me hear some Nova. Kick the game. Nova's game.
well, it's about 15 now,
God damn
so
it,
let me
Nova.
run it to about 10. No, so mental health, man, is really extremely important. But the main thing is to know that you got the power to